Okay, so this is Memorial Day edition. Why did it always have an issue? So it's just a real simple quote going in line with what we with Memorial Day. Home of the free because of the brave. Yay. So obviously, thank you. Are there any military people in here? The US? The US? It's all good. So anybody in the military, whether it's our country or another country, I'd be surprised. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, but thank you to everyone. And oh, there may be some people on Zoom land too, but my daddy was in World War II in the Navy. He was a Navy guy. So so thank you, Daddy, for everything. Anyway, so that's it. Short and sweet. Does anybody have anything they would like to share with that? You have the flag on today? Yeah. Jojo, I'm sure you have words to share. Very passionate about our country.
I saw Band of Brothers, the whole 10 episodes yesterday.
Nice.
Binge watch 10 episodes? Wow.
Great show.
That's awesome. Want to welcome from the last time we had from our last team meeting. Welcome to the KWC family, Viviana. Woohoo! Viviana Perez, John Bear, Heather, and Fernando Reyes. So congratulations. Super excited. We just keep building with world-class talent all the time. Okay, we still don't have our date for our family picnic. We'll let you guys know. Remember, August 15th, 16th is Mega Camp, and we always do a forward living event at all our travels. October, I have a question for you guys, and I probably shouldn't even open this up. I was having,
Don't do it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So we have this date, we have all the pricing, we have everything for this. I was talking to Eddie Krister, who goes to the Bahamas, and he thinks we should do it the first week in November because of weather. If we,
Human.
well, I think it's always humid, but if we moved it, would you, any of you object? Are any of you actually gonna go? I guess that's it. I'll just do whatever I want. Okay, perfect. And I'll lay it out.
I think we should do November 1st.
Yeah. So we were just gonna extend it, I think, by 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So just make sure that we're out of any tornadoes and, is it tornadoes inland, hurricanes are in the water? Is that how it works?
Come on.
But it started, okay.
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Sorry,
this will be the
water.
first time you just did what you want. I'm so happy.
I know, it never happens. Okay, more opponents, so great to see you. Mr. Raoul,
Everybody.
December 14th is the holiday party, same place, same time, so super excited about that. So basically, did you guys know it's actually June 1st in 2 days?
Yes, we knew that, yes.
Crazy.
Years.
Okay, so Louisa, I'm gonna have Louisa come up here. She has just been beaming and couldn't be more proud of her PC group. So I'm gonna let her share all the successes and anybody that wants to come up and speak about it at all. So Victor's not here, but okay.
So productivity coaching program, if you all didn't know, we have a productivity coaching program in August. And we led it, so we actually had, please, thank you, Steve Sachs. He's in the office. So we actually had our first time home buyers expo, where we had 4 vendors to speak and present and gave out raffle tickets and prizes, and of course, amazing information to a full house event. Like literally, it was a full house. We marketed it out, we worked our butts up for literally 6 weeks, marketing it every week. We're here talking about how we're gonna market it. We did videos, social media, we door knocked, we cold called, we did like pretty much everything, Eventbrite. So we're thinking, all right, we got 35 RSVPs. We're probably gonna have 15 people in here, right? But we had 33 people in-house, future buyers that's ready, willing, and able to purchase. Probably some of them are next week, some of them are next month, some of them are at the end of the year, but all of our agents who work so hard. So it's all right there. There was like what, 10 of us agents, and I don't know why, but it was all women. That worked it. And but we have a couple of our vendors here. Danielle's not here yet, but we had Jerry for title. He was amazing. He was also our camera guy. He also helped us out with social media. We also had Jojo.
Jojo.
He was basically our main speaker for mortgage. There was a lot of questions. It was like very interesting because at the very end, we gave the event about 3 hours, right? And we're like, shoot, we're gonna like go over, but we're like, who cares? But it was perfect. Like the timing was perfect. At the very end, we had a Q&A where all the vendors, if you guys can see, all the vendors were here in the front, and there was so many questions. It was so amazing that a lot of first-time home buyers did not know, and they were like so much in awe about title, about mortgage, about, we had an inspector come in, which is Corinne, and she was amazing too. So, and then we also had Danielle. We had a lot of questions about home warranty. Like we as agents, would you guys agree? We were also surprised that like, wow, there was a lot of questions about home warranty. Like a lot of questions, good questions. And we're like, oh, I didn't even know that. Like, oh, good job. And then, and then we had questions about title and of course mortgage, and then of course inspection. But I mean, then we also, of course, we had mimosas for them. We had food for them, and then we also had giveaways for them, for everyone, well, except you. You didn't have any. Yeah. You were just working. Yeah. But yeah, and you know what, at the very end of it, they were so happy, like everyone that came, and they loved the expo, and they were even asking us, what's the next thing you guys are gonna have in the office? And we're like, that's a great question. We're gonna follow up with you. So enough about me. Anybody else? The vendors?
I was honored to be a part of it. I had never done this before. I've never had this experience, especially with a room full of new buyers. The questions were very fascinating. I thought the room was inviting, and it was just a really great experience. I learned a lot myself. Jojo, I mean, this guy was like the star of the hour. He had people following him into the parking lot with questions. But it was really a positive thing. I think people who ever attended this thing left feeling more confident than when they first came.
Yeah.
It was great.
There was
Really?
a lot of information, and the people I invited really got a lot out of it. And the energy in the room was very positive.
Yeah.
And I think that.
And I thank you for all of you guys with that, because we had music going. We had music going. Oh, Erica. We had music going, smiling faces. We were like greeting them, giving them the tour of the office. White Clubhouse is the ish, But so we had an amazing turnout because my agents worked their butts off, and I did not let them not work their butts off. And so to make sure that they work their butts off, we had a contest within productivity coaching program that anyone that brought in 10 visitors, not like RSVPs, like 10 butts in the seats, will receive $250 marketing money towards their first listing. And not only that, and Stephanie was like, but what if 10 of them wins? I'm like, no. Then they have to beat each other. So if there's a 10, then there's gonna be an 11th person that brought in, another person that brought in 11. another person that brought in 12, right? So she's not here, she's supposed to be here, she's on Zoom, Monique. Woo-hoo. So Monique sits in here, 10 buyers. Of her. She had, I don't know if she can speak because she's writing, she said she had about 15 RSVP. And then, 2 had to reschedule because they were going out of town, and then she had 10 come in, 10 or 11 come in. And then the second prize, I'll talk to Stephanie about it, Erica. Erica, now that it's, yeah, we'll talk to Stephanie, and then Erica brought in 9 people. And.
So I would, go ahead. Because I know that you had them working for, you've had the room reserved. Every Wednesday from 10 to 12, doing
10 to
the
11.
prospecting, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
So for the 3 of them, like, let's start with Monique, if she can unmute. Even though she's driving, really, what was? Why was she so successful?
Monique,
Oh, hello, thank you. I'm driving. I stopped to get some chicken and coleslaw, so I'm a little late to the meeting. But first of all, Louisa with PC coaching, just really pushed us to really step outside of our comfort zone. And like she said, with the door knocking, with the marketing, it was our first time doing Eventbrite. It was a great conversation piece, to follow up with my sphere. Moms at my kids' school, moms at my son's football team. It was just people that from church, that knew that I was a realtor, but, wouldn't come to me and inquire about home buying. But when I spoke with them, they had so many questions, and they all surprised me to show up, with their kids. They were telling me, oh, my daughter, I can't get a babysitter, but they still wanted to come. And then, with the feedback that I got, it was very informative. But like I said, it was about really pushing myself, to go above and beyond to get this information out, because we had some amazing vendors and they were going to speak on some very important things. And like Jerry said, the mortgage was really the big thing. People want to buy, but they don't know the down payment or they don't know the process. And so each and every one of them I have followed up with. And like Louisa said, if it's not next month, it's within 3 months, 6 months, or by the end of this year. And a couple of them, Jojo could even share, was ready, willing, and able at this moment, but found out 1 thing or 2 things that they have to wait. So you can just see that people want to buy, but they're scared and they don't have enough information. And so woohoo to KW Calabasas and the PC program for, having this expo, so that we, the agents, could get this information out, not just be a smart plan and not just, calling them, hi, I'm a realtor, you have real estate here, someone, but that, you want to be a resource. So 1 year in, it really pushed me. And so it was really helpful, and everyone got a lot of information. So thank you.
About the next one.
what's the next one? But yeah, any other questions? That's it.
Yeah, so congratulations, Louisa. I know you work your ass off, for your agents, in the PC program and for the office. I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
Of course. And then, what's really pretty cool is, because a lot of times we get scared, right, when we're calling people. Okay, do I have anything of value to share with them, or blah, blah, blah? How am I going to deliver it? Inviting to an event is it just takes so much pressure off of you. Right. And if you have so if there could be a group of you or whatever to do that, I know Philip and with La Familia, they do a lot of events. They reserve, because you do typically one event a month that you invite into, etc. And they've had great successes with it as well. So you can, those are my favorites. Yeah, so we have this beautiful office. Right, so if there's any time that you ever want to reserve it, you know, you can do so. You just have to check with Brenda at the front desk and we'll see if it's available. But anyway, so great job, for you and proceed. Alrighty. Oh, it's here. Okay, oh. I can't see it very well. So there is a Forward Living Proud moment, right? So I don't know if you guys, a lot of you may have seen it already on social media, but Keller Williams Forward Living was ranked number 2 in LA County for sales volume out of all the offices. So that is huge, huge, huge. So we think about Keller Williams Forward Living, what we have anywhere in LA County, really like 8 offices, right? If we're excluding, you know, what county is Bakersfield in? Kern. That's Kern, okay. Kern, we have OC and da. So anywhere from 8 to 9 offices, we were ranked number 2. Number 1 was Compass, right? They have a gazillion offices, right? And look at Coldwell Banker, how many offices do they have? A gazillion. Agency, Rodeo, Pinnacle, etc. We are number 2 Forward Living in all of LA County. So you guys can tell other people, put that in there. I didn't spoke it. Right? We are kicking some ass. So just decide, throw it out there. But feel free to you know, if you want this, whatchamacallit? I think we have it on our social media, but if you want it, just let me know. Okay. Our wonderful ATL moment with Philip Crispino. Come on up.
Well, yeah, I can talk right out of my butt at practically almost any event, any meeting, but I'd love to know what you guys would like covered, such that by covering it, the 5 minutes that we have, that can just make the rest of your day, life, career so much more easier or lighter or just unnecessary activities. Because there's so much up here that could just come out. And then if it doesn't like match with who you are and what you're about, it's practically meaningless. It's just another effort in me getting to share something. But is there anything where you guys have a challenge or an obstacle that we covered it today to just make the rest of your career that much more simplified?
Getting
Cindy.
buyers to sign a contract.
A BRE? Awesome. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would read the whole BRE myself and then get super comfortable with what it is. So when you translate the BRE, it's nothing more than a way to let them know, like, hey, this is our way of putting into writing me as your fiduciary, right? And if for whatever reason our relationship doesn't work out, I'm going to send it back to you and rescind our BRE, right? My time is valuable, and you know what? I'm going to put in the work behind the hours, not just when I'm opening doors with you and going with you to these homes. I'm doing background research. I'm following up and following through with the agents. We're negotiating. This is like an opportunity to really put your value proposition out there. And there's 3 things that we always share. No matter who you work with, make sure that the agent that you're working with has a great lending team, great lending partnership lined up. And you may have your lending partner already, and 25% of escrows don't go all the way to consummation. 80% of them fail because of poor financing, poor planning on the financing side. Number 2, so you always want to make sure you have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. You got Cindy, you got your team around that. But part B is you want to write your offer in such a way that gets the attention of the listing agent and the seller, so that, hey, with no cost to you, the buyer. So that's what I'm providing for you, is to be able to make sure that we get this top 5 offer countered or even possibly accepted. And number 3, you want to work with an agent. And again, if it's not me, you want to work with an agent who's well connected, well networked. And I work with an office, and we can all say this. I work with an office of over 330 agents. They happen to be top agents in the Valley. And a lot of them are well connected. Our brokers, president of SRAR, whatever you want to share. Our PC coach is all over the map. Denise Marks is killing it. So whoever you're working with, you have a very strong networking partnership already. And if you're not on a team, you're not on PC, cool. You still know all the same people. Stephanie, me, Rich Cassani, the whole crew, right? So when it comes to the BRE, just get really comfortable with it yourself. Know that they're not signing their kids over to you or anything like that, but you're also having them get covered by our insurance as well. So when we get that auto insurance plan and it says, oh, we indemnify the office and all that stuff, they kind of get routes into that through that BRE signing, right? So that buyer representation exclusive extends over to them as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of positives. So once you get rid of all the reasons why you're doing it for the commission and losing money, once you get that out off the table, now all of a sudden it makes a whole lot of sense for you to move forward. And yeah, and the off chance that they do like stab you in the back and they go right over to the listing agent on the home that you showed, cool. And then you can go to the seller and say, hey, this brokerage owes me this commission because I put in this work and did it. I've never had to do that before. Right? You know, we either weren't a match and we fired each other early on, or we went all the way through to completion. Yeah. Well, hopefully that helped.
It did.
Awesome. I think we have a few more minutes.
Can I add, also regarding, getting the buyer broker agreement, so on and so forth, is just really having the conviction of what value that you're bringing to the table. So really have it, either the bullet points or what have you, because like even, like I have the sheet that has, hey, this is what I'll do for you, right? And then this is what I expect in return, blah, 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 that can be like a cover letter almost to the agreement. So it just states more of like, hey, this is this is for us to be able to work together, we need to sign this and be able to move forward. Because remember, you're interviewing buyers and sellers just as much as they're interviewing you.
And I'll say it myself, I'm a sinner. I don't get a BRE with every client. Not every client we've closed on a transaction even signed a BRE. Maybe they signed with Maureen after the escrow started, right? But most, I will be one of the first ones to tell you, I'm not, no one's in on getting the BRE every single time, right? So do we get them? We do. Do we get them every time? I don't. So, and a lot of those relationships stay with me the whole time. And all of a sudden they'll call me out of the blue and say, hey, there's another house I would like to buy. What are your thoughts? And they're meeting realtors left and right, just being top of mind in that relationship as you work through it. Any other questions? Anything else we can help with, or Jared?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It's not title related, it's more of a mindset approach. So I always love your insight. Last week we were discussing, especially for new agents, mindset. A negative mindset could get in your way. And somebody had said, a quote, that you can't control your first thoughts. I'd love to ask you the advice that you have for people who are newer. How do you train your second thought? Like, what is it that you can do to combat some of the negative thoughts that might get you in the way of moving your career forward, or when you get frustrated, or you're hitting a wall when it comes to cold calls or door knocking?
Yeah, that's a great question. Paul Morris has a whole chapter on it in Wealth Can't Wait. He says you can't control the first thought, but you can control the second one. And we're gonna have negative thoughts no matter what. Easy. I just look at my wife's face and she's like, hey, you're the most negative person I know. You're right. I certainly can be and have been. But those first thoughts that come in, it's, hey, I can't do this. Okay, this isn't me. Second thought is, how can I make this serve me? Right. That, it's always the questions we're going to ask ourselves. So whatever thought pops up, if it's fairly negative or it's just not conducive to your health or your growth, just ask yourself a question. How can I make this serve me? Just flip it around. Right. Like, hey, I don't like door knocking. Well, great. Do I have a better option? Absolutely. And it's a simple answer for me. But you always just have to reframe it. Right. It doesn't make me any less that I don't do whatever another agent does. It's just, where am I going to dedicate and invest my time? I don't know. What would be a great example of a negative self-talk around the room? And maybe we can flip it together.
I don't know, after a few calls that nobody is responding, everybody, "Hey, I don't have time," and hanging up on you. Let's say I had like 5 calls of that and I don't want to keep going.
Awesome. So that's like people you don't know.
Yes.
Awesome. Flipped around. Let's call 5 people you do know.
Oh.
Right. And I don't like getting hung up on either. Yeah.
Oh, get you smiling, and then you go back to the people that don't know.
100%. We start every session with a first and 10. Who are the first people I can call, text, reach out to that, it'll either make my day or it'll help me schedule an appointment. And usually early on, you think of the closest 5 people to you could be your spouse, could be family members, your parents, your kids, good close friends, and just let them know, like, hey, I started my career, we live together, whatever. Hey, I started my career in real estate, and I'd appreciate it and love you even more if you can, just keep me top of mind when it comes to anyone that needs to sell or buy real estate or both. Hey, you can totally count on me. Awesome. Start with those simple 5 calls, simple 5 messages. and then work your way through your database from your core group, work right into what we call our past client base. And past client doesn't mean you've been selling real estate before, now you're calling a database. If you're Roger Horn or Terry Lynn or Joseph, and you got a past client database, call them, right? But if you're your first time in real estate, call all your past coworkers, call everyone that you went to school with, you know, people that would know you as someone that can really kick butt in your world. And they not in a place where you were just, you know, I was antisocial, right? So yeah, I probably wouldn't call those past coworkers. But if you have past coworkers that you worked with and they know that you're a badass, call them and let them know that you're doing real estate, right? And then from your past clients, call your allied resources. These are the people that you already write money to. You give your accountant a check, your insurance agent gets a premium for you every month. You know, there's people in your life that you already paid for their services, and they may have referred people to you in your past businesses. You work that sphere. And then you go into your general sphere. Well, these are all the communities you're a part of: church, temple, you know, places you volunteer at. Maybe you're at a gym and you know all the guys and gals you spar with or whatever. You know, all those places. Very lastly, even before you even get to the full market, start geographic mark. Again, not something I'm doing, right? That's something we're breaking into, but that would be the next natural progression before you even go into cold calls. You know, some people love it off the bat. That's awesome. You know, I dealt with it for years. You know, some of it worked for me, some of it didn't. I ate through it. Cool. I'm appreciative of it. Knowing what I know now, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily start there.
One of my favorites that I'm pretty sure you were the one who mentioned it was call your parents' friends.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, my mom, biggest advocate, right? Her mom, next biggest advocate. So our moms are our biggest advocates. And guess who their target rich environment is? Ages 50 and older. Majority are homeowners, majority are looking at retiring, majority want to enjoy their grandkids, very similar to our moms.
And we want to support our kids' friends.
Yeah, well,
Because in a way, we're supporting our kids that way.
yeah, well, you know, if you take a step back, what's the parents' number one thing before dying? I mean, there's a bunch of number one things, but the idea that their kids are secure. And what's the best feeling of being secure is, other than helping your kids acquire real estate, as part of that financial wealth building plan. And we don't use the words all too often, like, oh, we're building wealth through real estate. We're building a lifestyle through real estate, or security through real estate. But a lot of my mom's friends, you know, they're in their 60s and they know the power of buying real estate, having bought real estate in the 80s and 90s. Today, looking back, like, oh my God, you know, this is yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought Burbank, this little rinky-dink house would be worth $1.2 million, right? Or wherever they own a house. And when you think about my mom's friends or my mother-in-law's friends, they all have concerns about retirement and how are we going to do it and where are we going to get our money from and how do we preserve this legacy? Again, they're not using the word legacy, but how do I pass this on to my family? So if you know your audience, then craft a message for that audience, right? So our message is living trust. Are you familiar with estate planning? Are you familiar with tax planning? Are you familiar with, you know, leveraging a reverse loan and all this other stuff? And we don't get paid for any of this stuff. We don't have licenses to explain any of this stuff, but we'll connect them with our allied resources, that third circle, that third line in your SOI. Now, all of a sudden, when we connect my mom or whoever with Damon Martin, the estate planner, or whoever your go-to attorney is for estate planning, guess what we just did? Hey, we just helped that person out big time, plus their family. So now we're embedded in their heads. And now we're embedded in Damon's head because, hey, you just need, like, I don't know what they charge, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for estate planning, $5,000, whatever it is. So we've helped out Damon, who's an attorney who has access to all these clients. So now we're top of mind when it comes to real estate in his head, and we're top of mind in their heads when it comes to real estate. And what's the name of the game in the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? It's to be number one or number two in someone's head when it comes to real estate. And it's not about, hey, do you want to sell and buy or buy and sell or invest? It's, dude, Monique was a resource for me, and you should probably talk to her. She helped us with this. That's the game. And so no, I probably ripped it off from somebody else. Yeah. And copycat game. Yeah. And last question before we jump off.
I just want to give kudos to Raul, who came door knocking in my neighborhood.
There it is. Awesome, Raul. And yeah, it's all team effort, you know, we all learn from each other. If it helps, we do our best to cover stuff like this on Thursdays and on Fridays, Thursdays morning at 8, Fridays at 2. So if you found this helpful, feel free to jump into either of those. You know, we host events, so if you guys need ideas, love the heck out of Monica and Maureen, they put together our events. It's can be super simple, super low cost, just have a message that you're passionate about, start with why, follow it up with what, and finish with how. So thank you guys for your time, appreciate you.
All right, good luck. Thank you, thank you. All right. Okay. All right, this is pretty right here. Oh, and I just want to let you guys know, for those of you that know me, you know this is driving me crazy right now, right? But we got the device to hold the wires up there, and I told the gals, no, don't do it before the team meeting in case it starts glitching again. So we just let well enough of it alone, okay? So don't mind that for now. Okay. Miss Lavette, where are you? Come on up. I already have it queued, so I'm gonna do this. So she will discuss it. Hold on a second, let me stop share. And then let me go like this. Oh wait, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, now let me go back to the sharing.
Well, while she's talking, hello, everybody. I am Lavette. I am the chairperson for our Office Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So what we're about to see is a video. What they've done is they did an undercover investigation of what happens when agents unfortunately treat people differently based upon their ethnicity. So I just wanted to show this video to let you know that please don't let this happen to you. And unfortunately, some of the agents that you are about to see are our very own Keller Williams agents.
Oh.
The good thing is it is not
Not
here.
in this office.
Yeah, not here. I was gonna say not here in California, but it does happen. So I just wanted to show this video. And before I show the video, I just want to also let everyone know that Keller Williams does have Keller Williams University. You can go on this site. I went there myself. It's a training you can take about diversity, equity, and inclusion. You take this course and you get a certificate that makes you an agent of distinction. It helps you with your marketing per se. You can put that in your tagline, you get, certification, you can put that as your branding to say that, hey, I've got certification, I can treat you with special care. They have all different types of subjects that you can go on, not just about ethnicity and inclusion, but you can go on Keller Williams University and get certification in different things. So just keep that in mind. So, yeah.
Right here. Oh.
I don't want to touch it.
This is hope I set it up.
So.
Then you just know that it's on.
My name is Jesus Rivera. Today's 21st of May.
It's about 10 after 2 and I'm in my car.
So it's Richard Hill testing as Pat Browning on May 3rd.
Hello, hi, my name is Talbot too. How you doing? Again, Talbot, me and my wife is looking to purchase a home, like in the Brooklyn area.
In ordinary long hours.
Great.
You can go get some water, okay?
And we sent them to meet with real estate agents to ask about buying their first home.
Nice to meet you, thank you. I'm good.
They were trained, confident, and followed scripts.
Tag in Stephen McCromas as Nicholas Parisi.
They had no idea what houses agents would suggest, or even which communities.
You're not gonna like those schools.
But you don't want to go there, it's a big thing.
If agents are courteous and professional, how can you know that they're treating you equally compared with someone of a different race or ethnicity?
I have to say,
Behind smiles and handshakes, how do you know that they're giving you fewer options or suggesting different areas?
I'm not gonna send you anything more. Unless you don't want to store your car to buy your trash.
Or that rules don't apply to you and are not held in the same way. Long Island is one of America's most segregated suburbs. Newsday set out to discover what role real estate agents might play in keeping it down, potentially affecting the quality of lives.
Technically, as a real estate agent, we shouldn't have used the buyers.
In house hunting, it's nearly impossible to see evidence of hidden discrimination. We never know unless we go undercover.
In one test, Johnny Mae Alston was the black tester and Cindy Perry was the white tester. And they met with Anne Marie Quilly Bichon at Signature Premier Properties office in Cold Spring Harbor. They asked for the same thing. As often happens, the agent discussed getting pre-qualified or pre-approved for a mortgage by a bank, showing how much a buyer can spend on a house.
Pre-qualified, I wasn't working with somebody in the bank. We've done some preliminary talks, about getting pre-approval.
Neither had been pre-approved or pre-qualified. Here's what the agent told the black tester.
So I really need that. Once they got any money, you have a pre-qualification there. So I need to know that I can't pre-qualify for a mortgage.
She's telling her she
Oh,
can't
yeah,
take her
maybe
out.
I can't go out to see anything. I want to, you can find another person, but I don't have the time.
And without pre-approval, here's what the agent told the white tester.
What is your availability? When can you start working with I would say not this coming.
Cindy received 79 listings from this agent. Johnny Mae couldn't get any listings. And Cindy, the white tester, received 2 home tours. They had the same finances, the same budget, and they made the same request in the same area. But one was white, the other was black. The agent treated them differently. Quilly Bichon did not respond to a letter, calls, and emails. Her agency, Signature Premier Properties, co-owner and 2 branch managers viewed the recordings and declined to comment.
A 3-year undercover Newsday investigation revealed evidence of widespread hidden discrimination by real estate agents brokering home sales across Long Island. For Hispanic home seekers, evidence of unfair treatment emerged 39% of the time. For Asians, the rate was 19%. Black house hunters in the investigation risked unequal, lesser access to homes and communities just about half the time when compared to white buyers. Kelvin Toon is a black man in his early 50s, and he went in to meet with an agent involving a test in the Brentwood community, a community that is 80% Hispanic and black. The agent communicated to Kelvin, our black tester, that she enjoyed meeting with clients from the Brentwood area.
Every time I get a new listed in Brentwood or a new client, I get so excited because there's nice people.
When we sent Kelvin's counterpart in to meet with the same agent, the white tester was actually warned about Brentwood not being a nice place.
The nursing home we need to be near is in Brentwood. And so we found a couple that are in Brentwood.
Be close to each other.
Okay. And it just seemed like those would be handy also for going to visit.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, I can do that.
That warning came later to the white tester saying there was concern about gang activity going on. This agent wanted the white tester to know that that information wasn't provided to Kelvin, the black tester. The listings centered black tester Kelvin in Brentwood with 27 house listings, while the white tester got 0 listings in Brentwood and was directed towards much whiter neighborhoods. Hickory said she had warned only the white tester about gang activity.
Okay, so
basically, I just want, I mean, the video itself is 41 minutes long. And it just goes on to show everybody all different variations of what happens between when they do the different things. So just like the one lady showed the African American tester, I can't even take you out without having the pre-approval letter, but then she sent the Caucasian tester 71 listings right away. Then this lady says, okay, yes, this is a wonderful neighborhood for the African American man. But then the Caucasian tester, she says, you really don't want to go there because that's a gang infested neighborhood. So my concern for all of us is I don't want any of this to happen to any of us, because you can get your license revoked, our office can get in trouble, and then that could be very bad for Keller Williams. So I'm just bringing this video to light to say, please be mindful of what you say, what you do, treat everybody fairly, treat people as though you would want to be treated. If you're unsure of what you said or what you do or how to treat someone, reach out. There's me, there's Stephanie, there's the board, there's everybody, but just don't make a call on your own. So please protect yourself and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Ben, for that. And she's also just started on Tuesdays doing the morning mindset as well. So, yeah. Super excited for, you know, your continued contribution. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Hey, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hold on a second. It's always a thing. Back here. You're probably like, Stephanie, there's an easy way to do it, but. Yeah, because well, when I like put a share on top of another share, then they couldn't see the new one I was sharing. So that's why, you know, I did it. So just want to always acknowledge Calabasas escrow. Like I said, we are getting tremendous escrows from everyone. So thank you all for the support. And yes, I'm like, what?
The question,
Yes.
question in land, do we have a IG or Facebook link or a page for Calabasas escrow so we can shout them out when we're closing these deals?
No, I don't know. I mean, I think no, because no.
I just shout out Lawn Love and hashtag. You know.
Yeah, let me, no, okay, let's just leave it at that. Can we talk later? All right, Amelia, thank you for the question. But yeah, so we're having our best month ever for the month of May. So super excited, and it's, you know, it's thanking each and every one of you, so yay. Okay, Cindy, House American Financial, come on over there.
So today I'm gonna talk about waiters. People say, I wanna wait. We run into them all the time. And my question is always, what are you waiting for? It was an interesting weekend because I heard a presentation by a financial advisor, and then completely unrelated, I had two very long, thoughtful conversations with two other unrelated financial advisors. And what was interesting is that they asked me, what do I think is gonna happen in the market? And I'm like, thinking to myself, isn't that what you're supposed to be doing? But whatever. But I told them, I said, look, I've got my opinion, but you know, everybody that I listen to, everybody that I talk to, nobody knows. They all have guesses, you know, they don't know what direction it's going and how long it's gonna take, how far it's gonna go. And so I'm like at the point where I almost don't listen anymore. I mean, I do with half an ear because I need to be in the know, but frankly, I think we're just in a weird state of limbo. So when somebody tells me they're waiting, I really gotta ask, what are you waiting for? Because I remember there was this guy back when the rates were in the 2.5s, 2.8s, thereabouts. And, you know, I pre-approved him to buy an investment property, some ridiculously low rate. And he kept saying he's waiting. And he's waiting because he knows that the market's gonna crash and prices are gonna come way down and then he's gonna go out and he's gonna buy all these properties. Well, you know, needless to say, what has he done today?
Zero.
He hasn't done anything since then because he's continually waiting. So I think that right now what we should do is when we see people who actually want to do something, they're actually motivated in some way, shape or form, because there's a lot of people who are just, you know, really honestly waiting for an opportunity, is just find out what exactly they're waiting for. Are they pre-approved? Because if they're not pre-approved, they're not ready, you know? Are they looking at properties and being not pre-approved? So, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna find something and then they're gonna run to the lender and try to figure it all out, right? You know, when they found the house they love and they don't have time to put in a proper offer on it. And then, more importantly, I think if you wanna buy a house today, you've gotta figure out if you're qualified and if the price, the cost of buying that house makes sense to you or not. Because there's various ways we can do it. I can put almost anybody in any loan, but you know, is it gonna be a loan that you can afford that you want that makes sense? I don't know. You know, so let's see what you can afford. Let's see if it makes sense. And then if you've gotten to that point, then you will know what you're waiting for. Because if it doesn't make sense, then you know, I need to save more money, or I need to wait until the house prices get to this level, or I need to wait until rates drop to this level, or whatever. But then you'll be truly ready to actually make a move when there's a move to be made. So I would not accept an I'm waiting answer for anybody who is not pre-approved, because they're waiting, but they're not ready in any way, shape, or form. So
How long is a pre-approval good for?
technically, it's good for as long as the documents supporting it are good, which is typically 3-4 months, something like that. But the way I've been doing it is that I just keep re-upping it as long as nothing has changed. I'll just refresh it and, you know, maybe put in whatever the rate du jour is to make sure that they still qualify and then issue a new letter.
When you do the pre-approval, is that for a certain mortgage rate? Because the rates are changing. When the rates are changing higher or lower, obviously my payment is gonna be changing. So,
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? So is that matter?
Yes, so when rates were going up and up and up and up, we were telling people, you know, get before you use or count on your pre-approval.
Exactly. That's what.
But they've been fairly steady. Okay, so we can pretty much count on it. And out of pre-approval, I'm never gonna go in and give them the bottom dirt pricing. I'm gonna give them the going price. Because I wanna make sure that they're gonna still be qualified if they find something. Okay.
And what are
most of
rates
my
right now?
play with points and rates. We're in the mid-6s to mid-7s. And that's on pretty much all loan types. And I mean, those are all the full doc loans. There's some creative stuff.
It's gonna be creative.
It's a little more, let's put it that way. Yes.
A question that came up from a client or a point of view. He bought his home with us in Palmdale a number of years ago, and he wanted to sell it. We tell him the price and all that stuff, and decided not to sell it. And he was still grateful, even though he drives from the valley from Palmdale down here. And he said, you know, Philip, the amount of equity I have in this house, that I can save that amount of money and let it grow in the bank to get to the same number, right? So I'm borrowing that anytime someone's like kind of on the fence, a great question to ask them. And then we're not financial advisors, but you can ask them this question or present to them, hey, the national average of real estate growth, of equity growth in real estate is 4% a year. So Vision slide, just pull up what Gary Keller showed us. And one would argue that the local area growth is about 6% or greater. You know, some people tell you, oh, my house has grown 10% in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Let me ask you a question. In the same amount of time that goes by, these homes that we're not buying are at least growing at 4%, right? So that what's priced today at $1 million, and then figure out 4%, right? It's going to be this much more next year, and then this much more in 2 years, and this much more in 3 years.
It's always gonna be a stretch.
Yeah, let me ask you, the $200,000 that you're holding off and putting down, is it going to grow at the same rate as that house that we're not buying this year? And a lot of times at that point, they're usually like, oh, well, gee, that makes a lot of sense. I'm renting or whatever the situation is. Especially if they don't own the property, you can even just have that conversation over the phone. They may not get the appointment right then and there, but dang, you're gonna be more top of mind than ever before. And then you can always end the conversation with, hey, give it some time to think, to kind of cook on this a little bit, or stew, whatever you want to sell them. Hey, do you happen to know of anyone that would benefit from the conversation from this perspective? And now it's not, anyone who wants to buy or sell and buy. Now the conversation is sharing what you have at your disposal.
Yeah, and just like, along those lines, the illustration that I showed you last week of the person who could buy with a reverse mortgage, or somebody who would actually take out their equity in a reverse mortgage and give it to their kids and let them buy their own house with it. Their house could appreciate so much greater than whatever they would have gotten if they would have just left it in the equity and then waited for their parents to die and then got that lump sum of money way later down the road.
I got the thing. Okay, $1 million house, $200,000 out of pocket down payment. You get 100% of house for 20% out of pocket, right? Is that $200,000 growing $40,000 in year one at a bank? Right, your 200,000, your $1 million house is gonna be worth $1.04 million. Again, you can't, yeah, maybe more, maybe less, whatever, but $1.04 million. In year two, it's $1.80 million or $1.90 million. In 2 years, your $200,000 growing $90,000 in value, or even adjusted for costs, is it growing that much? The answer is no. Real estate, Southern California real estate specifically, is very built differently. So it's almost not about the market, it's about your personal economics. Does your personal economics warrant buying this house?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is back to my point. If you are interested in buying real estate and you can qualify and you can afford it and it makes sense, you should do it. Shouldn't be sitting around waiting.
You change the narrative. You go from, hey, the economy sucks, to, okay, it's my economy that sucks. Or no, actually my economy is doing way better than the rest of the world. And you know what? When people aren't buying, that's when the wealthy buy. When everyone's buying, that's when the wealthy don't buy. And right, I mean, that's the whole Warren Buffett, hey, be greedy when people are fearful, be fearful when people are greedy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. At the end of the day, because it kind of goes with what Cindy was speaking about, and then what Louisa shared, with the homeowners, home buyers expo, is a lot of times people don't pull the trigger when they don't know. Right, and then sometimes, because most of us, right, hate rejection. Right, and then, so a lot of times there's that fear with a buyer that, hey, I don't want to be told no, that I can't. They get scared to find out find out the answer in anticipation of the answer may be, hey, no, you can't get home buyer. Right, so we just have to get them past that fear. Hey, you know what? It's just a quick 10-minute conversation, 5 to 10 minute conversation, and you just don't know. Right, there's so many different loan programs, there's so many different things, and if it's a no right now, then it could be a yes in 6 months or 12 months or whatever. So really helping them get past that fear of potential rejection and get them dreaming and thinking about their why and like, oh my God, home ownership, just help. It's just asking more questions and then getting them to ask, so you guys were talking about how great the questions were. And so you guys really created an environment of where they could be vulnerable, ask the questions, and then go, wow, this is possible for me. So it's just be okay with having those conversations. Where are we? Damn. Oh, remember, Bahamas, we talked about. Did we talk about? Oh, yeah, we talked about because I might change date. Okay.
What do you have to pay for that? What time do you have to pay for that?
Everything has to be paid in full by the end of August. Yep. Tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, Sonia's coming back with her tech talk. And then, so you want to make sure that you have that. And then since we don't really have time, but I'll just go through a couple of things real quick regarding your mornings. right? You know, we always talk about the miracle mornings, you know, how are you bookending your days, how you start your day, how you finish your day, etc. And really, how we start our mornings sets the tone for the rest of the day. Right, so just really have that moment when you wake up and just kind of have that silence, right? Like maybe listen to the birds, whatever, I don't know, but just have that silence, right? So that some of the 6 steps in the morning, one is silence, just kind of being at peace with yourself for a moment, and then obviously affirmations, right? Affirmations and gratitude. I have 2 different in my notes. I go through my affirmations, and then I go through and I add more to my my gratitude journal on my phone, right? But you have to be careful if you're grabbing your phone. Don't go, oh, let me just check my email real quick. All right, right? Or maybe you have your notifications, or maybe turn off your hey, right? Or turn off your notifications during a period of time so you don't start seeing them pop up, you know, when you wake up first thing in the morning. Because, and I should take my own advice, because like this morning, I'm like, oh, God.
So you did get my text.
I was like, I'm like, you know, but all of a sudden, then your mind is going, you know, like, oh my gosh, okay, that, you know, I gotta make sure I respond to this, da, 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 da. You want to have that peace first thing in the morning. So your affirmations, your gratitude, visualization, you know, do you guys have where it's easily accessible, your goals in front of you? So you can be looking at them. Did any of you do your vision boards? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and if you haven't, do something. Just even put up a couple of pictures. It's not a big deal, just something, right? So, and exercising. If you don't, why do you laugh? Exercising, like, you know, like Bill was talking about, okay, I'll go do some push-ups or whatever, do some jumping jacks. Are those still a thing? Jumping jacks? Or is that we got back in the 60s, 70s. Yeah. Let me jump the rope or whatever. And then reading, right? Just I have my books on my phone too, so I'll just go through. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like a lot of times, you know, you're like, oh my God, I have to read a chapter, you know, it could be just a couple pages. It's interesting how just reading a couple pages of a book of a good book, not some, you know, like trashy thing like that's how we were starting our day. Right, but just read through, it just shifts, or you listen to a podcast or something like that, and then journal, right? I mean, there's nothing better than actually writing out, but if you want to journal in your phone, you can do that as well. Whatever works best for you, but it's a little bit to align yourself and then go out and have a powerful, powerful day. So those are just a couple little things, because you want, you know, we have one shot at this, so let's make it the best that we can. We really be the best version of ourselves each and every day. Don't forget the Keller Williams School of Real Estate. It's free. That's still going on. So if you know of anyone that wants to get into this crazy world, let us know. Again, we have Michael Lewis Marketing Suite.